Grisham here for Official Street Preachers. Let me get this adjusted a little bit better. There we go. There we go. All right. We are live on Wednesday nights as usual at 7 o'clock. And so I'm sorry I didn't go live on Sunday nights. We were traveling on the road, didn't get a chance to do it. So sometimes when you travel, there's not much reception. The reception is not good, so you can't go live. So in any case, I did not get a chance to do that. So sorry about that. But tonight we are on live again, and we're going to talk about things that are going on in the world, street preaching, and all kinds of things tonight. Okay, so let's get started. Tonight's title of tonight's show is called America Dodged a Bullet. And I'm going to explain that to you here in just a little bit. I'm going to explain that to you, how that went down. All right. First, I want to tell you about our little street preaching adventure in Stillwell, Oklahoma, where myself, my wife Tracy, and Kaylee and Phil Holzhauser, and Rich Pankowski, we all stood on a street corner in front of a bunch of restaurants on Saturday, the day before Mother's Day, and we held up this great big banner that says, "Thank your mom today that she's not gay. Happy Mother's Day." Yep, that's what one of the things we like to do, is do this kind of stuff on Mother's Day. It was great fun. When you hold a sign like that out there in public, you don't have to even use a bullhorn necessarily. People will come to you, and boy did they. Those that were supporting it and those that were not supporting it. It's not unusual for people to come up with their kids and want their picture taken with the sign. It's not unusual for people to come up and cuss us and flip us off. And we had people that wanted to debate us. We had a man try to tell us that half his family was gay, and we told him, well, half your family's going to hell if they don't repent. And he was very upset by the sign. We had a little counter protester for about an hour. We had a young little lesbian girl showed up, and then another one showed up and joined her, and then they left immediately after that. So we did have one counter protester, which is always good for drawing more attention. So thank you very much to that person. Anyway, we had a great time preaching the day before Mother's Day. On Father's Day, I have another banner that says, "You are here because your dad's not queer. Happy Father's Day." So that's also another good one. We're going to do that on Father's Day. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't seen the live video of our preach, I went live for about the first 45 minutes or so there. So check it down in the videos down below. You'll see a couple of videos below this. You should see it. Okay? All right. So the first story on today's agenda is in Minnesota. There's a Minnesota parish. Okay, it's I guess it was a Catholic parish. That's what they call these things. Right here, see the guy with the rainbow thing around his shoulders, around his neck. That's going to tell you a little bit about what this story's about. Pro-LGBT Minneapolis Parish hosts a homosexual man's cabaret. Now, a cabaret is supposed to be a sexy show with like lingerie or where women take their clothes off and stuff, kind of a striptease kind of thing. Hosts a homosexual man's cabaret about his dead husband. First of all, he didn't have a husband. There's no such thing as gay marriage. Gay marriage does not exist. That's fake marriage. Gay marriage really is just a piece of paper. God hates divorce of real marriage, but he loves homosexual divorce because there is no such thing. Okay, so this pro-LGBT Minneapolis parish hosts it. Says a notoriously pro-LGBT parish in the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis hosted an explicit musical written by a homosexual man about his relationship with his deceased husband this past weekend. This was published on May the 9th. Okay, on Sunday, May 5th, Joseph St. James spoke to parishioners ahead of a gym class held at St. Joan of Arc Catholic Community. Now, if you are in Minneapolis and you're a street preacher, you should go to St. Joan of Arc Catholic Community and stand out there with a big banner and a bullhorn and tell these people the truth about the righteousness of Christ, because these idiots are not giving it to them inside the church, okay? They're leading them astray. There's a bunch of wolves in charge of this so-called church. I mean, it's bad enough that it's Catholic, but it's really gone off the deep end now. It says, after telling his mostly white senior, I don't know what that's got to do with anything, who cares, senior citizen audience about the murder of his former husband, Paul James Pfeiffer, by their mentally ill neighbor. Well, they were mentally ill too, so just saying. He invited them to attend the 1:30 p.m. showing of his musical at the parish titled Guts and Gratitude, a Widower's Cabaret. Okay, it says a digital flyer for the production warns that the story we tell deals with themes that may not be appropriate for children. Parental discretion is advised. Well, at least they said that. Okay, we'll give them a little credit for that they at least said, maybe you shouldn't bring your kids to this perverted nonsense. Here's a picture of the flyer right here. That's a picture of the flyer that they gave out. St. James shared his 9-minute-long remarks before a rainbow stole-wearing priest named Father James Cassidy delivered a heretical sermon, yeah, I'm sure that's right, expressing support for women deacons and social justice ideology. Isn't that interesting? They always talk, you know what? They're going to get social justice. You know what God's idea of social justice is? It's hell. Hell is God's idea of social justice. St. James previously told NBC affiliate KARE-11 that he had an incredible love affair with Pfeiffer. Ew, that's just disgusting. It was not a love affair. They had a lust affair. The Catholic Church explicitly teaches that to love another person is to will for them that which will obtain their eternal salvation. Homosexual acts are intrinsically disordered. No, they're intrinsically abominations, is what they are. Absolutely an abomination. Now, let's not soften the language from the Bible, shall we? Let's be just as direct and just as blunt as the Bible is when it comes to these things. Let's not soften our language, okay? Let's not do that. The Catholic Catechism teaches, therefore, to love someone who suffers same-sex attraction is to assist them in resisting those temptations to live chastely. Or how about be born again? You know, if you get born again, you're not going to be born again gay. Okay, you're not going to get born again homosexual. You're not going to be a sodomite. It won't happen. During his sermon, Cassidy expressed gratitude for St. James while touting boilerplate pro-LGBT platitudes. Oh. In order for our church to fulfill its commitment to truly love one another, it needs to commit to having a much larger spiritual imagination. Read that as demonic fantasies, okay? Demonic fantasies. An imagination for all that can be as opposed to a level of fear. Yeah, you wouldn't want to fear God, would you? Even though Jesus said to fear God, that will never allow love and justice for all people to flourish for all people, he said. What a bunch of gobbledygook. Man, I bet he preached that with a limp wrist. Videos of masses offered at St. Joan of Arc that have been uploaded on its YouTube channel indicate that liturgies routinely include guitars, lay ministers of Holy Communion, and other liberal practices. Other left-wing presenters have given talks ahead of masses as well. Hebda has been in charge of the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis since 2016. In 2021, he expressed support for civil unions for homosexuals. Of course he did, stating that such arrangements reverence the dignity of those in same-sex relationships. There is no dignity in sin. There is no dignity in sin, and it deserves no respect. Okay? If you're a Christian, you are not obligated to, nor should you, have any respect for homosexual so-called relationships. These are relationships born in hell, and they're headed to hell, and they do not deserve Christian respect. If they fornicate, we should discriminate. We should discriminate. Also in 2021, the heretical priest organization, the Association of United Catholic Priests, held its annual meeting in his archdiocese. So obviously there is a church going straight to hell, leading all of its parishioners to hell with them. and we throw that story out. So this is just par for the course for American Christianity, right? Now, I don't know if you guys listened to Brother Rich's, Rich Pinkowski show last night, Christian Journal Media. You should listen to that. It comes on at 9 o'clock every Tuesday and Thursday. He did a really great show last night. I watched the whole thing. And he did a really great job of talking about how American Christianity has gone completely off the rails because it's not on track with this, the Bible, okay? The Bible is the track we're supposed to be on. If you get off of that, you've gone off the rails. The American Christian church, and like Rich said last night, most of them care more about numbers and membership than they do discipleship. They care more about membership than discipleship. They look at the numbers of the butts in the pews and the money in the plate as that is the degree of success that they have. Less money means failure. More money means more success. That is not the measure of success for the Christian church, not the biblical standard. The biblical standard is fruit. Are you bearing fruit? Membership is not fruit, okay? It's not. All right. Now, on to our next little item. This is rather humorous. Okay, this is apparently, okay, I'll just read you the headline for this first. This is from the Gateway Pundit. New portal bridging New York City and Dublin, Ireland to bring the world together goes awry after a disturbing 9/11 terrorist attack was displayed. Okay, what they did was they put a portal, and this is what it looks like right here. A portal, and all it is just a live video screen shaped like a big circle, okay? And basically what it is, it's a live feed into Dublin, broadcast into New York, and a live feed in New York broadcast into Dublin on identical looking portals at certain places, and it's outside where the public can go and see it. And so, being in the world that we're in, okay, with all this, with nobody fearing God anymore, very few people fearing God, and you put this portal up there with a live video camera and other people, you could see the other people on the other side watching what you do. I don't think there was any sound with this, or it would have been worse. It would have been worse. But what they did was people started doing stupid stuff in front of the camera. Gee, can you imagine that? In this social media dominated selfie world, stick a giant camera in people's faces, and what are these idiots going to do? Well, some of them flipped up off the people in Dublin. The people in Dublin flipped off the people in New York. There was a little international incident of middle finger flipping back and forth. You can imagine that. I'm sure they were making faces at each other. But there was a woman arrested for some nudity too. So you can imagine where that went. I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, I'm going to read you a part of the story here. In an ambitious attempt to bring the world together, boy, did it. 2 large circular live stream portals have been installed connecting New York City and Dublin, Ireland. However, the project's intent of fostering global unity quickly soured due to unexpected and controversial content. The portals, which were launched on Wednesday, feature massive circular screens that stream live video feeds between Manhattan's Flatiron District and a central location near O'Connell Street in Dublin, Ireland. The project, initiated by Lithuanian artist, author, and entrepreneur, I'm going to mispronounce this, Benedictus Gleisius, okay, Gilius, okay, whatever, and his organization, Portals.org, previously achieved success with similar installations in Vilnius, Lithuania, and Lublin, Poland. Apparently they're a little more well-behaved over there, maybe they're a little more Christian than a lot of Americans. I mean, I've preached in New York City before. Trust me, most people in New York City are not godly. Trust me. I don't know about Dublin, Ireland. I've never been there. The portal connection between New York City and Dublin will run through the fall of 2024. I've got an idea, I'm going to show you, share with you in just a minute. Now, they temporarily suspended this, so I'm hoping they put it back up because I want to do something. I want to do something in front of this portal that should get people's attention. I think it'll be fun, and it'll be a lot better than the stupid, idiotic stuff of flipping people off and showing nudity to each other. You know, mooning. I'm guessing it was somebody mooning somebody else. That would be my guess. Throughout that time, there will be scheduled programming, including cultural performances at each city's portal that will be enjoyed by people in the other city via the live stream. Programming will kick off in mid-May, which has already started, with a visual program to celebrate New York Design Week Festival, according to the press release. Okay. Lord Mayor of Dublin, who in the world they call him Lord Mayor? It's like Lord Vader. Lord Vader of Dublin, Dithy D. Rosti, said, one of my key aims as Lord Mayor. You can just hear him going, oh, the force is with you, is to make the city more inclusive of stupidity. Okay, it was broadcast stupidity back and forth. The Portals project embodies this, bringing together technology, engineering, and art to bring communities from across the world closer together and to allow people to meet and connect outside of their social circles and cultures. We are delighted to connect Dublin with New York, which we share a deep historical and cultural bond with. Yes, lots of people from Ireland came over to New York City because they had a potato famine back in the 1800s. And so a lot of Irish people came over to the United States because they were starving over there. And so they saw a land of opportunity. They came over here. Did you know, by the way, as an aside note to this, did you know that prior to 1914, there were no immigration laws in the United States? Did you know that? You could just, prior to 1914, if you wanted to move to the United States, you didn't have to get a visa, you didn't have to get a green card, you didn't have to even ask permission, you didn't have to sneak across the border. All you had to do is get on a ship, like the Titanic, which unfortunately didn't make it over, but you could get on a ship and just come over here and get off the boat and get a job. Okay, that was what people did. However, nobody was giving away free stuff. Like there was no Social Security back then. There was no disability benefits. There was no welfare. There were no food stamps. There was no Medicaid or Medicare. None of that stuff was going on. So you didn't get freebies. You came over here, you got a job, or you starved. So you had better be prepared to work hard. Those are the kinds of people that came over back then. Okay, now they're giving away all these freebies. You know, free college education if you sneak across the border. Well, why do you think they're coming across by the thousands? They're going to get free stuff. See, we didn't have to protect our borders back then when we weren't being stupid. Our policies protected the border. That's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to those, to policies that protect the border. In any case, however, just a day after the portals became operational, controversy erupted. Uh-oh. The Dublin portal displayed a shocking image of the Twin Towers on fire. The Twin Towers on fire. A disturbing reminder of the 9/11 attacks to viewers in New York. We've all seen it. Why is that shocking? Some Karen got her feelings hurt. Oh no! I want to get a New York cop over here. Can you go through that portal and materialize on the other side and arrest those people over there in Ireland? They're offending me. They're offending me. Yeah, whatever. So that's what they did. Additionally, there have been reports of inappropriate interactions across the portals, like nudity, with videos circulating online showing individuals from both sides flipping off each other. And here you can see some pictures of that. Here's some people flipping the bird back and forth on both sides. See? Idiots. Complete idiots. Okay, in a more serious turn of events, a woman was arrested in Dublin a few hours after the portal's launch, though details of the arrest have not been disclosed. She was probably mooning or flashing somebody through there. And that's what was going on. Now, to what I want to do, okay? Here's what I want to do when it gets close to Christmas. I would like to travel to New York City, stand in front of this portal, and show everybody in Ireland that Santa is fake and Jesus is real. I want to hold a sign. I already have it made. I got the costume, dress as the Grinch, and stand in front of there and show all those little Irish kids that Santa is fake and Jesus is real. That's what I want to do. And on top of that, I'll also pull out a sign that says homosex is sin. And we can preach to the people in Ireland from New York City. What a brilliant idea. Thank you, New York, for helping us with that. We should show up in front of that portal with banners flying. We don't even need a bullhorn, because all you got to do is have a sign or a banner, because there's no sound, and you can just preach to the people in Dublin, Ireland, and you could say stuff to them that would probably get you arrested over there. But you could do it live on that portal, like Santa's fake and Jesus is real, or homosex is sin, or something like that. Just an idea. I mean, I don't know where I get these ideas from for causing all this trouble. I don't know. It just happens. I just get these ideas. I would really, really love to do that. Or how about this sign right here? The wages of sin, and sin is in rainbow letters. The wages of sin is death. Wouldn't that be a great sign to show those people over in Ireland? I think it'd be great. Now, technically, can we say we preached in Ireland if we did that? Does that count? Or do we have to actually go over there? You have to buy a plane ticket and stand in Dublin and preach. Or can we preach in New York across the portal? Would that count? Can I add that country to my bucket list of places preached? I don't know. You street preachers, put your comments in the comment below and tell me if you think that that would be appropriate to add that to my bucket list, okay? Because I really would like to do that. In any case, or maybe I could show them this one. Mother's Day. Thank your mom today that she's not gay. Happy Mother's Day. I hope they do this at other cities. I really do. It'll save us a lot of travel expenses as street preachers. Imagine if they did this in Austin, Texas. I could go down there and cause a riot in Austin and Paris at the same time. I could go get me a sign made up in French that says "Le homosex is a sin." Yeah. And I could put that up and really make everybody upset over there too. Preach the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ and make them. Now, speaking of Ireland, somebody over there has completely lost their mind. And maybe this person was the one that got arrested. I don't know. I got a story here. It says, Irish non-binary witch makes Eurovision final with song aimed to make everybody join witchcraft. Okay. Bambi Thug, that's what she calls herself. Bambi Thug. Where does she come up with that? What drugs is she on to come up with a name like Bambi Thug? I mean, can you imagine Bambi with his arm with a big old tat on it, MS-13 tats on his face or something like that? What? With a 40 sticking out of his pants, and showing it off or whatever, and is wearing his hat sideways because he's too stupid to wear it straight. Not Bambi Thug, that's what she calls herself. She is a witch. She's a lesbian, apparently. Okay. Bambi Thug calls herself a witchy king. Okay, there's that gender confusion thing there. Women can't be kings, they can be queens. Men can be kings. Okay, just to let you know that. I'm going to keep the pronouns straight. King is for men, queen is for women. Okay? Queen for women, king for men. She's not a king. She's not even a queen, as far as I know, but she can't be a king. Whose performance is filled with blatant representations of Satanism and occult images, actions, and symbols. Oh, I'm sure she'll be real popular in today's world. She'll probably be performing at a mega church near you. Yeah, right along with the drag queens, and the children will all be there, putting dollar bills in her G-string. That'll happen. You watch. All right? An Irish witch and self-professed non-binary individual is representing the once Catholic nation in the 2024 Eurovision Song Contest, performing a song with blatant representations of Satanism and occult behavior. I mean, That's kind of what AC/DC did for years, right? Back in the 70s and 80s and stuff. They were kind of blatantly satanic too. It's not that new, although she's just trying to take it. She's like Lady Gaga, but she's worse. Worse. She's like Lady Gaga on male hormones or something. I don't know. On May 7th, 31-year-old Bambi Ray Robinson. Oh, that's where she gets the name, Bambi. Her parents named her after the little deer. Maybe her mother was shot. That's why they called her Bambi. If you're old, you'll get that reference. Known by her stage name of Bambi Thug, secured a place in the Eurovision final, taking place on May 11th in Sweden. Robinson claims to be non-binary and describes her work as Ouija pop, like a Ouija board, okay? Ouija pop, with prominent and indeed central aspects of satanic-inspired images, actions, and symbols present throughout. She has horns on her head. She wears black leather. She's got like pentagrams all over her. She dances on top of pentagrams. She screams like she's some kind of Sex Pistol reject. If you're old, you'll get that reference too. And she's just a terrible, terrible person. Hang on a second. Okay. With prominent indeed central aspects, satanic-inspired images, action symbols present throughout. Explaining her stage name, Robinson said that Bambi Thug is your witchy king antidote to the world during an interview on YouTube. Her May 7th performance of her openly satanic flagship song, Doomsday Blue. Okay, that's appropriate for that song because if she died right now and went to hell, she'd be taking a gasoline shower in the blue flames of hell. That's what would happen to her. So yeah, Doomsday Blue, Doomsday, Judgment Day, blue flames of hell. I got it. Okay, that's appropriate. So saw Robinson dressed in characteristic gothic attire with devil horns adorning her costume and fake nails representing bishops, crosiers, I don't know what that is. The song will not be linked here owing to its overtly demonic content as described by Robinson herself. Multiple overt satanic themes were visible, aside from Robinson's makeup and her lyrics, featuring spells drawn from Harry Potter literature. You know, I heard that a lot of the spells in Harry Potter were actual witchcraft spells. I don't know. I'm not a witch. I know that God hates witchcraft and thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. You know, for those of you that want to go back to the Old Testament, that live, you know, you got to live by the Old Testament laws. I want to see you come up and stone this woman. Are you going to stone her? Are you going to do that? You'll go to jail for it, but are you going to do that? Where's your faith, man? Where's your faith? Okay. It says, make it lyrics. At one point, Robinson stood in the center of an encircled pentagram while candles lit up as she waved her hand over them. Her dance partner was also wearing makeup to resemble a demon. Of course, they have to match. Her ensemble wouldn't be complete. I mean, if she's out there dancing with a guy dressed like Jesus, he would cast her off the stage, just cast her out. Okay? While a mid-performance outfit disrobing saw Robinson wear the transgender flag colors on a bikini. And I saw this woman. She's so skinny, she'd have to run around in the shower just to get wet. I mean, she's so stinking skinny. My gosh, she wouldn't even plug up a garden hose if you stuffed her in one end of it. She looks like a 9-year-old boy, is what she might be. I don't know. In today's world, she might be a 9-year-old transgender boy. That might come out. I don't know. We'll find out. What she explained was to shout from the rooftops about trans rights forever. Oh. Drawing on her self-description as a witch, and she screams that out. I'm a witch, is what she says really loud. And her public involvement with the occult, Robinson ended her performance by having the words, "Crown the Witch," in Gothic text appear on the screen behind her. She also had the phrase tattooed on her face an Ogham script after her original intention to have Free Palestine tattooed on her face was rejected by the organizers. You know why they rejected that? Because next week it'll be something else. You know, the war in Hamas will be defeated, the Gaza Strip will be conquered, peace will come to that area, and it'll be on to the next liberal leftist talking point. So you wouldn't want to tattoo a Free Palestine on your forehead because, you know, how are you going to change that? Have it lasered off and put the next thing, put Black Lives Matter on there next when that comes back up? I don't know. So anyway, rejected by the organizers. The catchphrase, Crown the Witch, has since gone viral on social media sites. Yeah, with stupid people, with Robinson winning notable support from the Irish media and numerous Irish politicians. Well, that tells you where Ireland is. It's no wonder they're flipping off people in New York across that portal. The New Yorkers and Irish people are just as demonic as the other. They're both idiots on both sides of the pond being stupid. Including newly appointed Prime Minister Simon Harris. Oh my gosh. Ireland is doomed. The song, which Robinson secured her place at Saturday's final, is described by Eurovision as being about the feeling of having your potential overlooked and as an ode to the queer community. You don't want to hear an ode to the queer community? Ah! It's hot in here! Get me out! Ah! Screaming in hell. That's the ode to the LGBT community. Okay? That's what her song ought to be. Oh God, it's hot in here. Turn off the heat. You know, that's what it ought to be. In any case. Okay, Robinson's small number of songs and music videos are notable for their explicit content, such as full nudity. Ew. Their heightened focus on sex, of course. All these sodomites, all they care about is sex all the time. It's all about sex. Let me pause right here for a second. Now, I know Rich Minkowski got on his show and told you about how his daughter went to school and there was a young girl in there that was looking at bestiality pornography on her phone in class and was showing it to others and got really upset when his daughter said that was sick and twisted. It was evil. Okay? Well, I just had a phone conversation today with a young man. I'm not going to say who he is. I had a conversation with a 17-year-old young man who was in a high school in the Dallas area who somebody showed him a picture of some pornography and he said, oh man, that's gay. And then the person that was in the picture was at the school, okay, this was during lunch at the school, started a fist fight, started an actual fight with him and punched him in the side of the head. Fortunately, he did not return fire, and so the other kid is getting in trouble, and he's not. But I just wanted to let you know this is happening at schools everywhere. Rich's was a middle school, this one was a high school. It's happening all over the place. These idiots are sexualizing the children, and the children are responding by looking at pornography and indulging their prurient interests in sexual material. And you're going to be raising an entire generation of worse perverts than we have now. That's what's going to happen. Okay? This stuff gets worse and worse with each generation. I know, because my generation was not nearly this bad. Okay, it had its problems. Yeah, there was a lot of teenage sex and there was some pregnancy going on and stuff like that. But nobody was marching around the school wearing a trans flag, bragging about how they could show off their porn and how they'd change from a girl to a boy. Nobody was doing that. In any case. All right. She has made no secret about her long-standing direct involvement with the occult. Of course. I mean, if you're going to go to hell, might as well take the fast lane, right? Professing to have practiced spells since an early age. My heritage is pagan and I practice witchcraft. I'm a Gothic, B.I., She stated earlier this year while also noting how she enjoys regular links and guidance from other witches. Indeed, speaking in 2023, Robinson stated that the then unreleased song Doomsday Blue is explicitly satanic. I have a song called Doomsday that isn't out yet. I spoke tongues under the beat, or we will all speak backwards in songs or just hide spells in songs using occult language as well. or even like the necromancy song that came from a spell. Now, my wife Tracy and I used to have a life group in our home some years ago in Amarillo. And we had a former high priestess witch who was a born-again Christian. And she came a couple of times to our life group and she talked to us about these kinds of things. And what she told us is this, that a book is never just a book. A movie's never just a movie. A magazine's never just a magazine. And a song is never just a song. The entire world lies under the sway of the wicked one. So the demonic stuff in songs and movies and books and magazines and all these other outlets and now social media has been going on for decades. It's just been more hidden. It's been more subtle. It's been more of a deception. But as it's become more accepted, the fangs are starting to come out on the wolf, if you know what I mean. They're not hiding themselves anymore, okay? This was their true intentions all along, okay? AC/DC back in the 70s was just as demonic as this idiot witch from Ireland is today. She's just more honest about it. That's the only difference, okay? Now, I'm not saying all secular music is demonic. I'm not saying that because I know there's going to be some Pharisees out there that leave comments that not all secular music is demonic, okay? I'm just saying that there has been demonic secular music for decades, since the 60s that I'm aware of. I don't go back any further than that. But from the 60s and 70s, but it was shrouded. It was concealed. It was hidden. It was alluded to, but not explicitly spoken. But it is now. So it's coming full mainstream. And the only thing beyond this is trying to shove it down your throat. That's the only thing left, is try to force you to not only accept it and celebrate it, but to participate in it. Because if you don't, they're going to call you all kinds of names, or they're going to kick you out of society. They're going to debank you. They're going to fire you from your job. They're going to throw you in jail. It's just it's coming on all fronts. And we'll talk about more about that here in a few minutes. Okay, the intention was in it, she said. Most of my songs and lyrics have occult-based lyrics too. It definitely plays a massive part too. I don't think that anyone is really using much occult terminology, and that's sick because I want to do it all. Robinson's goal is to make everybody join witchcraft. Her description of writing music bore strong similarities to a kind of demonic possession, with Robinson stating that she sometimes has no real memory of writing songs. I can go into a vortex. Writing music is very weird for me because I can completely channel. I just go somewhere else for ages and then just come out with a song. I sometimes don't even remember writing something. I have this one track that I wrote years ago, and it's one of my favorite tracks lyrically. I can't remember writing it. Okay, so she's talking about demonic possession. That's not surprising, okay? She has professed that her aims are to talk more about the occult and get people more familiar with it and make people stop being so judgy about witchcraft. Oh, stop being so judgy. God is very judgy about witchcraft, I assure you. My goal in life is to make everybody leave all the other religions and join witchcraft, Robinson stated. What's the goal of the Muslims? Get everybody to leave all the other religions and join Islam. That's the goal of a lot of these things, is to get you to leave Christianity and go join the world. You do that, you're going to end up going to hell with everybody else in the world. Don't get on the lemmings and follow them over the cliff. Okay? Well, Jesus said the blind lead the blind, they'll both fall into a ditch. Well, we got the blind leading thousands of blind, and they're all going to fall into a ditch. Don't fall into that ditch. Now, there has been some pushback on this from Irish Catholics, but I don't want to read what they say because who cares what Catholics think anyway? They're going to go to hell with the same woman if they're not careful. All right. Next story. Oh, wait. I'm going to throw that one away too. Boom. It's gone. All right. There's a Dallas church with link to Planned Parenthood launches a pro-abortion pregnancy center. My wife, Tracy, used to work at a pro-life pregnancy center. where they gave out diapers and formula and car seats and high chairs and cribs and clothing, anything associated with babies and giving birth and all of that. And they gave them spiritual support, they gave them material support in trying to talk them out of having an abortion. And then they would also try to lead them to Christ. There's actually a lot of little babies running around Amarillo, Texas, because my wife and other women like her, when she worked there, were leading these young women to Christ and talking them out of having abortions, when abortion was legal in Texas at one time. So that's what they do, and they've been very effective at this over the years. And if you have a mind to help with abortion, not only should you stand out in front of abortion clinics, but if you have the ability, support one of these pro-life pregnancy centers financially if you can, or volunteer at one. You know, it's a good thing to go out and stand for righteousness in front of an abortion clinic. It's also a good thing to go one of these pro-life centers and actually have a compassionate side to your ministry and talk to these women and talk to them out of having abortions and trying to get them saved and bring them to Christ. That's a good thing too. You can work both ends of it. I strongly encourage you, if you have a mind to do both. Okay? But this Dallas so-called church, another one of those fake churches like the homo church we talked about a minute ago, okay? A church in Dallas with a history of supporting the abortion industry is in the news again after opening a pregnancy resource center that aims to promote abortion. In a story by KERA News, the First Unitarian Church of Dallas, that's another place to go preach at if you're in the Dallas area. KERA says the First Unitarian Church of Dallas. Go preach there. If you're in the Dallas area, go preach in front of the First Unitarian Church of Dallas. They need it, okay? Take a banner out there with it says, "Please don't kill me, mommy," with a picture of a baby on it or something, okay? Says it's opening its PRC to counter anti-abortion misinformation. Like when we tell people that those are babies. Called the Truth Pregnancy Resource Center. These idiots wouldn't know the truth if Jesus slapped them in the face himself. They wouldn't know the truth if it bit them in the rear end. The facility will purportedly offer women items expected at a traditional PRC, such as maternity and baby items, STD testing, pregnancy tests, and more. But unlike most PRCs, it will also provide women with information to help to end their preborn children's lives. You know, one time I was doing a news interview with Channel 10, KFDA television in Amarillo, and I was standing in front of a Planned Parenthood clinic in Amarillo some years ago when they were doing the 40 Days for Life. And I was interviewing with them, and the girl said to me, "You know, this Planned Parenthood here does not provide abortions." And I said, I know that. She says, "So why are you here?" And I said, "Do they make references for abortion? Do they refer abortions?" She said, "Yes, they do." And I said, "You know, Hitler never personally killed any Jews, but he made about 6 million references, didn't he?" You see, making a referral or making a reference, a referral to abortion is just as evil as performing the abortion itself. You're just as guilty of murdering that child if you encourage somebody to get an abortion. You should stand in front of this stupid place here and preach, okay? Because they need it. Because they are promoting abortion here. They don't have to actually perform them here, okay? In Dallas, there's no abortions allowed here. But I'm going to read a little bit more, and I'm going to show you how they're helping them go out of state to get abortions. And New Mexico is one of their big destinations. Okay. It will also provide women with information to help end their preborn children's lives. I've always kind of struggled with this idea that we're just going to speak about abortion care, said T.J. Fitzgerald, the minister of community care and engagement at the church. When someone comes through our doors, they have access to the internet and are aware they can travel outside of Texas for abortion. They should not be journeying through that process alone. They should not be going through that journey. Okay? That's a journey that leads to hell. Though Fitzgerald says that women will be offered abortion information as one of many options, the First Unitarian Church of Dallas has a storied history of promoting abortion, which makes one wonder if abortion information won't in fact play a more prominent role. Of course it will. Of course it will. They're not going to say, all their little baby clothes are going to be gathering dust because they're going to probably give away so few of them that they're not even going to matter. They're going to be up there for show. But the real deal is going to be trying to get these women to have abortions. That's what it is. Okay, these people are evil. They are evil. This place is evil. Okay? All right, which makes one wonder, in fact, the church's senior minister and CEO, Daniel Cantor, is a board member of the Planned Parenthood of Greater Texas Board of Trustees. Oh, what a surprise. In his leadership role, Cantor has appeared to make promotion of abortion one of his primary goals. Yeah, he's a Sith Lord. In 2021, the First Unitarian Church of Dallas, a member of the Association of Unitarian Universalist Congregations, which does not hold to any Christian creeds. No, they don't. They're full of witches and pagans and leftist liberals and idiots. That's what they're full of, okay? They're full of nonsense. Which train pastors to promote abortion in order to receive a designation as a participating church. Church led to vote to affirm legal abortion as a positive moral good in society. That's disgusting. According to a website describing the group's purpose, we are here to say abortion is a blessing. Oh my gosh. These congregations publicly affirm these three principles. We trust and respect women and people who can become pregnant. And only women can get pregnant, folks. Only women, okay? Men cannot get pregnant. There are no pregnant people, there are pregnant women. We promise that people who attend our congregation will be free from stigma, shame, or judgment for their reproductive decisions. That's why you should stand outside their church, so you could fill them full of shame and show them the judgment of God against their sin, okay? Because these people are not going to do it. No, they're going to pad that handbasket all the way to hell. Make it as comfortable as possible. We believe access to comprehensive, affordable reproductive health services, including abortion, is a moral and social good. No, it's not. No, it's not. It stands to reason that any pregnancy center founded by a church which publicly claims killing preborn children is a moral and social good will not hesitate to promote it to women who visit, of course. So, anyway, go stand in front of that stupid church, that Unitarian Universalist church in Dallas, and this abortion promotion center, okay? Expect more of this nonsense to happen in states that don't have legalized abortion. And expect people like George Soros and these other abominations to donate money to these organizations to help send them into other states so they can get an abortion and even hide it from their parents if they're underage. I guarantee you there are underage girls getting abortions who don't report to the police that these girls have been having sex with somebody's committing statutory rape. You know, they've been abused as children, like incest, and a lot of incest and child rape has been covered up by Planned Parenthood because they do not report this stuff to the police. They would rather make a buck off of their abortions and kill these children than they would to secure the safety for these young women. All right, next story. Biden's daughter's diary declared authentic after fact checker said it was unproven. This is Biden right here. Right here, they've wiped the drool off of his mouth for the picture, okay? Snopes, a fact-checking website, recently reversed a fact check regarding the authenticity of Ashley Biden's diary, which allegedly claimed that President Joe Biden had taken inappropriate showers with his daughter. You heard that right. Ashley Biden says her father molested her. She says Joe Biden is a pedophile. That's what she said in her diary. That he took a shower with her when she's 12 years old, buck naked, and touched her inappropriately. He is a pedophile. Know this. If you voted for Joe Biden the first time, okay, you probably didn't know this because people were refuting the authenticity of this diary. Okay, they were refuting it. But this diary is real. The Department of Justice put a young woman in prison in Florida and convicted her of stealing this diary. Let's read a little bit further. Okay. Snopes explained the fact check had previously stated there was strong evidence that Biden's daughter's diary existed, but the fact check had argued that no source had authenticated the contents of the pages published online. According to the Post-Millennial, the fact checker's website, reversal comes shortly after Ashley Biden wrote a letter to Judge Laura Taylor Swain confirming the authenticity of the diary. The letter was written by the president's daughter, and there was a woman convicted of selling it. The Post-Millennial reported that the theft of Ashley Biden's diary resulted in controversy surrounding a quote in the diary that allegedly claimed Joe Biden had taken inappropriate showers with her. In the letter to Swain, during the sentencing process, Ashley Biden wrote, "I am deeply saddened that I have to even write this letter because my personal private journal was stolen and sold for profit." So she herself is authenticating this diary. The point of the theft, I assume, was to be able to peddle grotesque lies by distorting my stream of consciousness thoughts. Okay, they reported what it said. That's what they reported. She said it. Ashley Biden wrote that her once private writings have repeatedly been misinterpreted to lob false accusations to defame both her and those close to her. No, it's not false accusation. She made the accusation in the diary. She's trying to protect her dad because she doesn't want to end up floating face down in a ditch. Of course, Biden's not the Clintons. I don't know if Biden would have her killed, but if this was about Bill Clinton, she'd probably be already dead. Although this criminal act happened more than 3 years ago because of the publicity it drew, exactly as Ms. Harris intended, I am constantly re-traumatized by it, the president's daughter stated. I will forever have to deal with the fact that my personal journal can be viewed online. So she, right there, confirmed that everything that was online was indeed from her diary. And that diary says that she was inappropriately touched and took showers totally naked with her father, and that's disgusting. What father in his right mind would ever take a shower with his 12-year-old daughter? Who in the world would do that? That's just sick and twisted. Okay? All right. On to our next story. ADF, now this was reported actually last year. I just came across this. The Alliance for Defending Freedom has fought and won a case against the state of California. They are trying to, they're trying to get churches to help fund abortion. And this is what the world tries to do when you're a Christian. They try to get you to compromise on your faith. They try to get you to negate your faith. That, oh, you can believe whatever you want, but when it comes to your actions, you need to do what the state tells you to do. You need to obey the world. Okay? You can believe whatever you want in your head, but you can't obey whatever it says in the Bible. You have to obey the world. So in California, they passed a law stating that you had to provide abortion care for the employees of the church, for all employees of any business in the state of California. You had to provide abortion coverage for your employee. It doesn't matter if you were personally opposed to it or not. And this included churches, okay, who do hire employees. They hire people to do the lawn. They hire people to take care of the grounds. They hire people to do secretarial work. They hire people to take care of the books. They hire people to do all kinds of things. A lot of the pastors are on staff, paid on staff, okay? They get a salary from the church. So they also get medical packages for taking care of them if they have to go to the hospital. So California passed this law several years ago stating that all businesses, including churches, had to provide abortion care. This was a way to shove abortion down the throats of churches. But I want you to understand this too. This was also a backdoor attempt to defund the churches. Because a lot of Christians who are pro-life, who are abolitionists, would be so upset about their church having to provide abortion care to their employees, they might stop tithing. It might put a lot of churches under. I would imagine that's a secondary goal. Either they will comply and we'll be happy with it, or they'll go under and will be just as happy with that. That is a demonically diabolical plan, is what that is. Okay? Resolving lawsuits brought by 4 churches, 2 federal courts in California have ruled that the First Amendment protects the church's right to decline elective abortion coverage in their health insurance plans. Given the court's rulings in these multi-year lawsuits, state officials have agreed to pay $1,400,000 towards the church's attorney's fees. So thank you, Alliance Defending Freedom. God bless you guys. They represented Skyline Wesleyan Church, located in the San Diego area, and Foothill Church in Glendora, Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills in Chino, and the Shepherd of the Hills Church in Porter Ranch in another. Both lawsuits challenged California's abortion coverage mandate. In both cases, the courts ruled that the U.S. Constitution protects the church's freedom to operate according to their religious beliefs, which include their belief in the sanctity of unborn lives. Thank God for the courts. Now, that doesn't mean that the courts are always going to be on our side. You got politicians in Ireland supporting an Irish witch who's non-binary and thinking she's just all wonderful. Where do you think that country's going? It's certainly not going to go the way of Christians. Okay? Got a little Muslim story here today before we get to our final thing, which I'm going to talk about this photograph right here. Our final thing, which this video is entitled, America Dodged a Bullet. We're going to talk about how America dodged a bullet in just a minute. A Minnesota mom, says exclusive, mother says daughter was attacked at school. Her daughter was attacked because she was not a Muslim. Okay? A Minnesota mom is demanding answers after she says her 9-year-old daughter was jumped on a school playground by a group of girls who she was told targeted her daughter because she wasn't Muslim. Shauna Larson told the Liz Collins the reports about the disturbing details of the attack that she says took place on Monday, April 29th at Hidden Valley Elementary in Savage, Minnesota. Larson said her daughter's 3rd grade teacher and principal approached her in the school pickup line after school to tell her that there was an incident. It was very apparent that my daughter didn't do anything to cause this, and they told me this was a calculated incident and that she had been attacked on the playground by 4 other students in her grade. I ended up learning this was due to her race and her religion because she wasn't Muslim, so that was pretty jarring to hear. Now, you're not going to hear this reported on mainstream news media, are you? But if it was 4 Christian students beating up a Muslim student, I guarantee there'd be riots in the Middle East over it because it would be all over the mainstream news media. Oh my gosh, Christian students are beating up little Muslim kids in elementary school. Nobody's going to talk about Muslims doing this. You see, these parents are worshiping the devil. Allah is Satan and Muhammad is in hell. And Islam is purely demonic. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 20 says this, and that which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice not unto God, but unto demons. And I do not want you to have fellowship with demons. The Muslims worship a demon. Allah is a demon. It is not God. Okay? It's not the same God of the Bible. The God of the Bible has a son. His name is Jesus. And Allah, it says in about 6 or 8 different surahs in the Quran, that Allah has no son. It is not the same God of the Bible. It's impossible. If Allah has no son, but the God of the Bible has a son, it is not the same God. Okay? Get that. There's a lot of Christians out there that will argue with you right to your face and tell you, it's the same God. They're worshiping the same. No, they're not. You're a fool because you don't read your Bible and you haven't read the Quran. You're ignorant on both counts when you say something stupid like that. Okay? These children are being raised up to be little demons. These are little terrorists in training is what they are. They're being raised up as little terrorists to harass and beat up other people that are not Muslim. Okay? Because that's what they're taught at home. They learn this stuff at home. It wasn't until the next day when her daughter started to bruise that Larson realized the severity of her injuries. That's when we noticed that she had a black eye, and we immediately took a picture of it. When she came home that day, I just kind of looked her over, and she had bruises on her arms and a bruise on her back, bruises all over her legs. Now, the police were not called by the school. The school refused to call law enforcement. That's dereliction of duty on their part. Dereliction of duty. What if they had gang raped this little girl? If those little boys, and I'm pretty sure this was boys that did this. Might have been girls, but probably boys. But if they had gang raped her, would they have refused to call the police? As there's been incidents of Muslims gang raping non-Muslim women. This is very common over in Europe. This is why we should not be allowing these people into our country. I'm a firm believer we should not be allowing any Muslims to immigrate into our country, period. If you're a Muslim, you should be excluded from coming over here. We don't need that violent, dangerous religion. We will end up with, I mean, if Islam was truly the religion of peace, then the Middle East would be a paradise, but it's a hellhole of violence because Islam is inherently a violent, dangerous religion. Okay, and this is one story that just goes to prove it. These are children that did this because this is how they're raised. They were brought up at home like this. Larson's daughter told her that the girls pulled her down by the hair and started punching and kicking her. She told me she tried to get up, and when she tried to get up and go for help the first time, and I believe it was the first time they had gotten her on the ground, that she was trying to fight back, and they told her that she hit them or she touched them, that they would hurt themselves and tell the teacher that she had hurt them. So they were willing to injure themselves and then lie to the teacher and tell her that she did it. These are devious little devils because they're being raised in Islam. This is exactly how Muslims act. These children are a little microcosm of the Muslim world. This is how they work. What do you think's going on in Gaza right now? They're letting civilians deliberately get killed so they can run and scream and tell on the Israelis. They're killing women and children. There's a genocide going on here. Sounds like this story, right? I mean, we're gonna injure ourselves and then go and tell the teachers that you did it. That's exactly what they're doing over in Gaza. Okay, this is no different. This is Islam. This is how Islam operates. So she just told me, so all I could do is lay there, Mom. No, I would have jumped up, started punching him in the face. That's what I done. Jumped up, started kicking people between the legs and punching them in the face. You have a right to defend yourself, especially if you're being ganged up on by a group of people, okay? If you're being ganged up on by a group of people, you need to defend yourself. Now, this parent needs to pull her child probably out of the school. If there's a bunch of Muslims there, she needs to homeschool her child or put them in a private school, okay? She needs to get them away from these Muslims. All right, let's go on to our last story here and talk about this picture. This is a picture my wife, Tracy, took in Stillwell, Oklahoma this past weekend. Okay, that's the Aurora Borealis. Now, Tracy and I lived in Alaska for 4 years, and we've seen the Aurora Borealis in Alaska. That's normal. It's normal up in Canada, way up in Canada, northern Canada, and Alaska, in Iceland and Norway, places like that, Sweden, to see the northern lights. That's normal. It's not normal to see it in Oklahoma or Texas. Okay? What happened was a coronal mass ejection, a CME, an X-class CME, hit the Earth. Fortunately, I think it was a glancing blow, because if it had been a direct hit during the daytime, whatever side of the Earth that was directly facing that coronal mass ejection, it would send electrical pulses through the power lines and would explode every transformer it came to. Because in those transformers, there's coils of copper suspended in oil. And it brings that charge and drops the voltage down and makes it so your house can use it, like the 110 or 220, right? It runs it in there so you can use that power, because they pump it through at higher voltages for the sake of efficiency of transmission, because it transmits more efficiently. But then they use the transformers to step it down so your house can actually use it. But what happens when you get too much of a voltage coming in, too many amps, it starts to boil that oil, and that thing is a pressure vessel, and it explodes. And when it explodes, your power goes out. And these transformers are expensive, and it takes a long time to make them. If this happened on a wide scale, America would be in the dark right now. America dodged a bullet. God is in control of this, the sunspots, and what the sun does. This is not something man does. Okay, man has nothing to do with this. Nothing at all to do with this. This has everything to do with God. I believe God has just fired a shot across our bow, the bow of this entire world, not just America. He's firing a shot across our bow. He's letting us know that he could turn our lights off. He said, let there be light, and there was light. He could also say, let there be no lights in America or in the world, and he could shut those lights off. Okay, so we as a nation need to be repenting of our sins and coming back to God. You saw all this stuff I was reading about here. The world is a horrible mess. The world needs Jesus Christ now more than ever. More than ever, it needs Jesus Christ. We dodged a huge bullet. I don't think people understand the magnitude of this. Okay? You were this close, America. You were this close to being plunged back into the 1800s. No more fuel for your car because you can't pump it. No more water being pumped to the major cities. No more sewage being pumped by the sewage stations. Okay? No more electricity. No more running the dialysis machines. No more of any of that. No air conditioning, no heating. It would all shut down. All of it. Food production would stop. Food deliveries would stop. Okay? If a coronal mass ejection knocked the power out, they estimate it could be out for 3 to 5 years in most places. If the power went out for 3 years, 80 to 90% of Americans would be dead in 12 months. 12 to 18 months. 80 to 90% of Americans would be dead. We just dodged a world-changing event right here. Folks, it's time to start getting on your knees. It's time to start reading your Bibles. It's time to start witnessing to your neighbors. We really are running out of time. We're running out of time. God's not going to send many more warnings. He's going to start hitting us with this stuff pretty soon. I don't know what it'll be. I don't know if it'll be a CME. I don't know if it'll be an EMP done by man. I don't know if it'll be another pandemic. I don't know if it'll be an economic collapse. I don't know if it'll be massive earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis. I don't know what all it'll be. Maybe it'll be a combination of these things. But I'm just telling you that we dodged a huge bullet, and we better understand the magnitude of this and what could have happened. If it happened just a little differently, you wouldn't be watching me on this show tonight, because the internet would be gone forever. Oh my gosh, if there was no more Facebook, think of all the people that probably killed themselves, right? They would just have no other reason to live if they couldn't be on their phones. Because most Americans, the only time they bow their head is when they're on their phone. They're doing this. They don't bow their head to God, and they don't bow their knee to God either. It's time to start repenting of our sins. For if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins, and I will heal their land. That's what we need to be doing. So anyway, God bless you all. I'll see you guys Sunday night with a lesson. Y'all have a good evening.